So jumping right into it, number 10 on the list is going to be choosing a worthless degree. Now, it used to be that you could go to college and get any degree and you'd be set for life. It was basically like a golden ticket to success. Sure, some degrees were going to be a little bit better than others, but at the end of the day, it didn't matter all that much. It's definitely not like that anymore. It's more like a debt trap than a golden ticket now for many degrees.
It's a trap!
Now, you hear generic advice all the time about how to choose your major, and it sounds something like follow your passions or choose something you love and you'll never work a day in your life. Now, I do agree that passion should be part of the equation. You should never do something that you hate, for instance. But realistically, if you're gonna go on average almost $40,000 in student loan debt and spend 4 years of your life studying, you wanna make sure that you're getting your money's worth. Number 9 on the list is not knowing why you're going to college. So many people go to college because it's the thing that everyone else is doing and they're just kind of following along. Once you go to college, you're set. It's time to have fun for 4 years and go deep in debt. The truth is, the main purpose for going to college is to set yourself up for a meaningful career. Sure, there's other stuff to it. You're introduced to new ideas. It's fun. You learn a lot. Your brain gets expanded, okay? All of that stuff, maybe you find yourself. And yes, that is a unique experience technically. There's no other experience like college. But the truth is, there's many things out there that could also be unique experiences. And there's so many other ways that you could achieve all of those things that I just mentioned. You could move to a new city or a new country for 4 years. You could backpack the world for 4 years. There's so many other things that you could do with that time that would be just as meaningful as college, and they probably wouldn't cost nearly as much. The main purpose of college is to set yourself up for a meaningful career, and everything else comes secondary to that. You have to treat college like an investment. So now the big question is, what kind of career do you want to have after college, and how is your major going to help you get there? Which brings me to my next biggest mistake, which is not having a plan. Most people go into college not having any plan whatsoever. So it's so important for you to have a plan, figure out what your goal is, and then reverse engineer the steps in order to get there. Figure out what profession or career or industry that you're trying to get into. Talk to people who are currently in that industry. Once you know what you're going for, you can ask those people really important questions like, do grades matter? Should I be joining a lot of clubs? What type of clubs should I be joining? Should I be getting a job? Should I be networking? Who should I be networking with? Not only will this help you decide what degree you're going to major in, but it'll help you decide what degrees might be good double majors or minors or different skills that you should learn on the side. Number 7 on this list is going to be optional for some people, but I would say for most people watching this, this is going to be a really good option. I think it's a mistake that people don't do it, and that is not going to community college. But for most people, I highly recommend just going to community college for the first 2 years and then transferring to an in-state university. Community college is so much cheaper. It's around $3,500 a year, which is so much cheaper compared to public schools or private schools. But on top of that, I would argue community colleges actually give you a better education, especially for the intro level classes. And the reason for this is because at community colleges, the class sizes are much smaller, and so you get a lot more one-on-one time with the professors. And on top of that, the professor's main job is teaching. It's not researching like it would be at a lot of the different public universities. And this one kind of ties into the next one on the list, which is going to an expensive college and treating your student loans like monopoly money. So many people fall into this trap of going to super expensive private colleges that make you open up your wallet and charge you much more, when the degree that you get, statistically speaking, is going to make you the same amount of money or very close in your entire lifetime. So the difference in what you end up paying for a private college is, generally speaking, from a personal finance perspective, is not going to be worth the very tiny difference in what you're going to end up making. You want to keep things as cheap as possible, and ideally you should try to pay for college without taking any loans out at all, which brings me to my next point. Number 5 on the list is going to be not pursuing as many grants and scholarships as they could have gotten. There are different types of scholarships, grants, essay competitions, all kinds of different ways that you can get college paid for. And most people either don't take advantage of this at all, or they do, but not as much as they should. And I think, all things being equal, the main reason for this is because they start way too late. You should be starting to apply for these scholarships, essay competitions, etc. at the latest in your junior year of high school. This can save you thousands and thousands of dollars, and honestly, with the amount of work that you have to do, it's really not as much work as it looks like. Number 4 on the list is going to be not working, pursuing internships, and networking. So this is a common mistake that I see people making all the time. People either don't do it at all, they just go to school and they don't work at all. They don't get any real world experience. Or they do work, but they're doing something that's not going to give them any experience in the career that they're going for. Now, number 3 on the list is going to be basically the exact opposite opposite problem of what I talked about before, which is doing the bare minimum. So a lot of people, what they do is when they first go into college, they do the bare minimum, they don't join any organizations, they don't do anything like that, and then at the last moment they realize, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna be able to get a job, and then they just, you know, join a ton of different clubs and they try to be as active as possible. But doing the bare minimum is a big problem, almost as bad as the other one. So you graduate from high school, which is a pretty structured environment where they basically tell you exactly what you need to do. You go to college where it's not nearly as structured and you have a ton of free time that you don't know what to do with. Number 2 on the list is going to be not learning basic personal finance skills. Now, honestly, I think that high schools across the nation, it should be required classes to teach people basic personal finance skills like doing your taxes, making a budget, investing, the importance of, you know, finding the right career, all that sort of thing. I think it should be mandatory to teach that in high schools. Unfortunately, they don't, and so what I really recommend when it comes to food and cooking, which is a huge part of your expenses, is just to learn basic cooking skills, okay? Basic cooking skills are going to serve you pretty much the rest of your life. Using a crock pot, for instance, is great because you can make all of the food that you need for an entire week using a crock pot. All you have to do is just put everything in there, put a little water in there, set it right before you go to bed, and when you wake up, it's gonna be ready, it's gonna be good to go. Then you can just individually package them and eat them throughout the entire week. Very easy to use, very cheap, and honestly, it tastes pretty good as well. This is just one example, but there's a ton of other personal finance things that you wanna learn, such as budgeting, saving, investing. All of these things are extremely important. Now, the number one biggest mistake on this list is not working on skills. At the end of the day, the world is changing so fast right now. We're, you know, entering into the age of automation, for instance. A lot of jobs around the world today either won't exist at all, or they're going to be completely different than the way they look right now. Because of this, you should really focus on learning skills that have a lot of market value. Basically, skills that business owners and hiring managers are thirsty for. They're gonna be willing to hire you and pay you really well because not that many people can do the stuff that you do. Not only will you get paid better, but you're also gonna have a better quality of life because you're gonna have more leverage over the businesses. If they don't treat you well, you'll just go to someone else that does. So what you wanna do in college is you wanna build those practical skills and then do some type of project, which is going to be different depending on what major you're in, so you can show a boss or a hiring manager that you can contribute to their business. You can show this to your potential future boss and they'll be much more likely to hire you. All right, guys, make sure to gently smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring the notification bell, comment down below any thoughts, comments, criticisms, etc. And before you go, make sure to check out my other videos right here. I made them just for you.